welcome. Let's see. See if there's anything for me to do over here. Have been testing this as I go along, so let's see. Okay. Cool. Okay. Hello, hello. Hi, Cookie and Judd. Welcome, welcome. Try to get my energy up. Let's go. Alright. Like, do the anime, like, slap the face, kind of like. Alright. Alright, here we go. Been so sleepy lately. Work's been catching up to me. I've been not really overworking myself, but just like super trying to get on the grind of like trying to work on things at work a little too efficiently, trying to do too many things quickly. I'm actually tiring myself out. Been taking longer naps and sleeping longer. I really got like up today like at 10 a.m. or something. It was bad. So try and wake up for you guys. Alright, here we go. Welcome to Dakota. Hello, hello. Good to see everyone. Let's see. Especially Cookie, thank you for coming back. So I think I've seen you in a stream or two. So that's good. Alright. Looks like that music's about to wind down. There we go. Okay. Boop, 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 boop. There we go. Alright. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, hello. Get busy, unfortunately. Okay. Yeah, I understand. I get that too. Like, I can't really work on my movie too efficiently. Can't say efficiently. Efficiently. There we go. Welcome, welcome, welcome. To everyone. Welcome, 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 welcome. Alrighty. As you can see, I am a tiger, and this is Orange World. We're underwater. We got Fanta World, and we got Izzy. Let's see. That's all I can see is the pressure's up on. I suppose they're technically still open as I haven't started yet. When they got into Discord, it was It was not saying Pinkie Pie or a pirate, or it'll be, I guess now, a witch. I guess we can kind of do this democracy. That's okay. Thank you guys. Thank you. Welcome, real fan. Welcome, welcome. Let's see. I'm saying that, and thank you. It's a nice little onesie. I don't know how the hair comes out, but I had to clip out my ears to fit them inside, so that was fun. Doing good, thank you. Yeah, we could do a witch. I think that'd be fun. Yeah, let's do that. Let me see if I can get some references. I'll go over the Izzy puppet. That's cute. Okay. So Izzy wasn't in the Sunny falling down and Pips and Zip Saver animation. There's gonna be too many characters, so unfortunately, I like updated the rest of those characters for the animation to make sure that they were ready to go and animate. So, fortunately, Izzy, looked like practically like this. So all I had was her basically. So I had all of these master controllers and all these handles in the meantime. So I was busy this week just setting her up and like making sure that these master controllers and extra little squishy buttons here, make sure that these all work. So It's actually a lot of work to set it up from basically pretty far, very primitive version of her. That actually was really nice because I was able to really dig in and see some places that I wanted to improve with the puppet itself. As we see if I kind of zoom ahead here. I also got these like bracelet little different pictures. So they have different versions of the bracelet going up and down. So I can choose certain poses later on. I'll get to a pose here. So I got this pose. And so I was able to change the angle of the bracelet based on those pictures. So the master controller is able to I fed in a slider, let's see, I fed in the pictures of the different angles of different drawings, and then the slider is able to then kind of like pick and choose which of those to go to. So it kind of like becomes this nice little selector. Because first I wanted to, one of my goals was to make it so that I could have a deformer on her arm and then have another deformer on her bracelet and then be able to move that around. How nicely this kind of smooth and kind of rotates and stuff. So I just couldn't figure out how to like rig it though, because it got pretty complex. I did try like all last night trying to make that work, but eventually like this kind of like cell swap basically kind of worked as like my final solution. So it's a little limited in that way because I can't jimmy it like this where I can really get an exact pose. Like if I wanted to like kind of like have the angle of it kind of go in a more more freeing way. So unfortunately that didn't work, but I think I got everything else that I wanted to. Like I got the, if I move this part in, her butt's still at a nice seam there, but if I bring it out, then the actual leg itself can then kind of bring that back out. I also updated her hair color, so you can see I had a nice little gradient. It kind of goes from a light blue to like a purple, and so little details in there to make it pop a little bit more, make it more fun looking. And of course all the regular stuff you've seen of all the head movements and the different body swaps there, and of course the mouth. And physics just decide how much hair physics there are, which sometimes work, but usually don't. Yeah, I detailed a little rawr. That's great, thank you. So yeah, let's get started. So we want to do a witch costume, so let's go back out. Start from how we started from last time. This will be a process. Pretty similar. So I want to make a Izzy costume sketch. Okay. So we can kind of pick and choose what kind of design elements, kind of designer now, if how we want it. I kind of like this pose, so maybe we'll just kind of go with that. Kind of design it with this pose in mind. Otherwise we started from here, and if I start to then move things, they might in perspective move bad, so I think we'll just kind of go from here. So what I want is color. I think I might have a sketch line there, but I think not really. I'll just go from here. I think these are Twilight's colors. Just get a new one to be super mixture. Okay. So definitely, let's see. So we're now designing her costume. So we definitely want some sort of big hat. I want to move this in front of everything and Z up so it doesn't go behind it. As I saw before, like was in back of her head. I can move this in front and Z up. And I want to probably have maybe a little bit thicker line. Still going behind her. Super in front of her. There we go. Let's get rid of some of this extra junk. Don't need it. Get rid of it here. Ah. It's possible. Okay, I thought I drew it on her ear. Okay, good. Let's get a picture. Do. Okay. I'm doing pretty good today. That's so like I've been kind of a little sleepy. I've also been like craving food for some reason. I'm not sure what's up with that. Think me more. Let's do more straight up. Just been like very hungry. That's as exciting as my life has been, where it's like I've been sleepy and hungry a lot. Trying to make some more interesting kind of shapes here. And I think I want to maybe make this a little bit shorter. If I miss anything, like any kind of design or anything, let me know. So obviously this will be the time to make sure that we include all of your ideas. And then I'll act on it. And this will be the first time in a while that I haven't done the Inktober. So I think for the last couple of years I've done like drawings. One drawing a day based on like a prompt or deem or something. Those were fun. It was definitely like the whole point of it was to draw something that you're not used to, or like something out of your comfort zone. And I pretty much just have to start from scratch and be just like, yep, just anything that I draw is gonna be out of my comfort zone no matter what. So yeah. I just wanted to really focus on work, really, basically. I feel like this isn't exactly what I had in mind, but that's what I mean. I'm not exactly, or I'm just too hard on myself, I guess. Or it's like, that's not right. Redo it. Let's make the eraser. Can I make the eraser bigger? I don't think so. Interesting. I'm thinking of making it be, that's the brush. Maybe something like that. Something more swoopy. Let's see. Hi, Ray. There's something. Felicity. Oh, Felicity, welcome. Okay. Miss anything? Well, how long has it been? Since today. This is, I got hat drawn. That's about it. Other than that, we did have, I can show Sunny. Yep. Trying to hide some of that stuff. There we go. So I probably want to go back and I think I messed up on her tail where I wanted to have it be the same kind of more inky, kind of like paint like thing here. I think it's a different pose. That'll be better. Yeah, this one. That I designed it for. This was last week, so all this week I was trying to get Izzy's puppet done, so probably by the end of this month I'll go back through and each one of them, try to clean them up. So there's some stuff that I do want to clean up on them. I think your little, this line is actually the wrong color. Oh, we still got glowy. So there's a lot of stuff I'll have to clean up on that. Welcome, Tiger. Welcome. Yeah, it's Alicorn Queen Twilight. or whatever we got to call her. Yeah. So all this month, this is sort of like an Inktober kind of style where gonna each week draw the G5 horses in different costumes. Let's draw like a little. Something like that. Kind of like those two little frills there. Something like that. I think that'll be good. Try to just bulk this out. Anything else? Let's see. We can have some sort of, like some sort of undershirt. And again, yeah, we'll clean this up no matter what, so don't you worry. What else would you need? That one's pretty simple. Let's see. Use some sort of belt thing. Could literally just be a belt buckle. Maybe this can also be a belt buckle up here. I want to Izzify it as well in some way. So maybe some accessories or something. We'll have her thing there. We could have it be somewhere else too. She has like on the back of her head, she has like this crystal line on the back of her hair that's kind of, it's all puffy. It's like this string around her that I didn't really notice when I was making obviously this puppet for. This puppet was originally designed before the movie came out, so I didn't know that behind her head had like this string of beads. So we have somewhere, I can put that like up somewhere. I guess up here maybe? Can I put it on the hat? Just trying to figure this shape out. That's something. I don't know which way this is like going in every direction, which I guess is fine. And then we can kind of dangle this down. And this could be like another one of those. Yeah. Something to add more into it. Some sort of something here maybe. Then maybe some shoes. Shoes are always good. Now that the G5 ponies have like hooves, it kind of makes shoes almost redundant because it's like they have like protective hooves now compared to like the Laffy Taffy hooves that the G4 horses had. Maybe like some sort of seams through all of it. I'll probably have to redo this hat a couple times, but I think that just kind of got the point across of what I wanted. I think just like the execution now is going to be next step there. I think that's about as much as I want to do there. Especially if I have enough time today to get through as much of this as possible. So how's that all? We'll just add more details and more finalities of everything as we go. Okay. We can go into head. Let's see. Thank you. Oh, the hat. It's very curvy. Yeah, just like didn't know which way it was supposed to go, so I just kept going. Thank you. Let's see. So if I have it, could just connect directly to head as hat, and then we'll just have two parts maybe. So we'll have Izzy, which hat. So that is a drawing object. We'll give it a peg so we can transform it in case we need to move and then reposition it. Noodle it up to the head so that when the main head moves around, then the hat will move. And then the drawing object needs to actually go to a place so it can actually be visible. So I can put it onto the main composite. And the composite's what pretty much renders or like displays everything. So you can see like all these different, every single part here kind of goes into this main head composite, as every single object in here goes into it. So I'll go back here and then we'll start to re-sketch this out and redesign it and finalize what we want. So I could go into Izzy's palette and just make a whole bunch of new colors in here. And for now, let's start with our sketch layer. Sketch refined. Kind of color there. Okay. So I can go back out to drawing object here. Kind of lay this out. So you can see it's kind of in there. So now I can start to press wrong buttons and then decide what I want to do with this now. And so I might want to pick apart some of these kind of shapes here and kind of design it. Use the cut tool to kind of remove some of these lines. The problem with hats is that they always have to sit between kind of the front layer of like the head and then like kind of go behind it. So like these brims have to like somehow exist in 3D space where they're kind of like in front and behind her. So it's always a challenge. To kind of figure that part out. Big belt buckle. And more Susie, Dr. Susie style, the better. So that'll create the more naturalist kind of like imperfections that we like to see. Talked about this when like trying to 3D model It's very, very easy to just make things look perfect. You know, you can have like a cube and it'd be perfect in perspective and everything. It'd be like perfect. You modeled it and it's like good. But things aren't always exactly a cube, or especially if it's supposed to represent something else. So it's always good to like kind of go whoop, 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 whoop it. So I feel like with the movie, I've tried to catch myself as many times as possible to be like, yeah, it's not really a cube. It's more like a cube. And it's supposed to represent something else, you know. So it creates that more more fantasy, less sterilely perfectness of everything. So you get some design. It's like, okay, that's got that curve to it, you know. It's not a right angle. It's kind of like a or S curves or C curves. S curves are like my favorite. Oh, and this is like my favorite design, kind of like style. My favorite curve is this one. You see this a lot in the G4 Pony a lot. There's this kind of nice little curvy curve. And they fit together if you do it backwards. If I remember how to... If I can even do that. Let's see. Sorry, I didn't. Go backwards. There we go. You can see how they kind of symmetrize and look as a nice pattern together. Almost looks like a heart or something. Welcome, welcome. Rawr. Welcome. I don't want to mispronounce your name there. Sorry about that. Okay. That looks all jelly. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm probably going to go back through and, you know, instead of making this perfectly straight, I'm going to play with it more. I'll probably just work on the top part of it first. So I don't want to do the brim yet, because that'll be its own couple objects. So we can start with her purple hair. Tilt it more towards... If it gets too loud, I'd like to desaturate it by bringing it more towards white instead of towards the black. So if I pin, get a good size, and go to town. Here we go. Done so much vectoring work. Just kind of like, okay, here we go. This is where we shine. We can also start to think about putting it on the right layer. So maybe I want to restart because I got too trigger heavy. I probably should have put it on the next layer up instead, but now that I know where everything is, I can just go back through again. Beep. Yeah, we're good. Make sure I don't select through the layers. Then I'm gonna add this S curve again. It kind of goes down here and up here. And just kind of go through now. And vector. So how are you guys doing? Cookie's still here. Her daddy was busy. Probably shouldn't pray too much, but I wonder what that was about. No, Star's been really busy too, or just Star wants to watch other streams and whatnots. So yeah, what's up, Cookie? If you want to say. Oh. I wanted to watch other streams and whatnots. This does kind of feel slightly lonely without you guys. No, do appreciate your guys' presence. Okay. Okay. Well, that's not a, you know, like a bad or anything. It's just kind of like, well, okay. Priorities, I guess. That's alright. See how that looks. Some things. It's like I would like to. I'd like to get this vector point, but I just can't get the. I want to get the Bezier curve, but I just can't. What's up with that? So like use the other side, and it's like not as. I want to turn this into an S curve, but I can't. There we go. I was just trying to feel out what kind of curves I want. Go from there. Yeah, I've just been so busy with work and just like practically like collapsing after it. But even my boss is like, you know, like on Friday, you know, it's like you've done so much good work the rest of the week that, you know, you're practically the only one like actually here really working in the back, designing. The other coworkers have kind of already left. They had appointments and stuff. Yeah, so it's kind of weird to keep you already ahead of the curve with everything, keeping you still here. It's kind of a little weird. Hey, nice Izzy picture. Welcome, Colton. Good thematics. Good. All right. Yeah, thank you. All right. Splatoon 1 got 100%. What was Splatoon 1? Oh, thank you for telling me which game. Thank you. I have an arm to say nice. Okay. That's awesome. Yeah, I feel like if I really wanted to, I probably could beat all the sploots. But it's just just like probably a big time commitment more than anything else. At least for me. That's kind of what it's coming down to a lot of times. It's just like, do I have time to actually do this? I really wanted to. But that's awesome. That's great to hear. Wish I could have done that. That'd be cool. It's just hard because like my brain is always like trying to think of whatever needs to get done, and it's like, well, especially guess at work, you know, I'm still at the mindset of, well, I have the time now to work on things, so I guess I should take advantage of that, you know, that if I have something, you know, I can get through all my orders and then do a bunch of stuff, you know, that are kind of like due like in 2 to 3 weeks now, or I can, you know, leave and then I would have to come back and still have to work on that stuff, and then I would technically have less time from if I started a project next week. I would technically have less time to work on it than if I worked on it on Friday. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. So I was like trying to tell my boss, you know, I was like, hey, I would like to, you know, still be here. I'm okay with that. You know, I'm not staying overtime. I just am too efficient that they all kind of realize that I'm quick at what I do. So I can get the orders out and design the layouts and print them out probably faster than the last guy. Last person who was do my job. So they're probably just like impressed of like, whoa, you actually did it faster. Whoa, that's crazy. And of all things, you know, I'm like using a DOS box, you know, like using Windows DOS software to design these layouts. And eventually just got the knack of it. And it was like, okay, yeah, let's go, you know, let's do this. So I figured out how to use that, yeah. I guess technically you would be able to see this part of it. We. Let's see. Okay. That's what they sort of. Maybe we go trick or treating on it. Yeah, but trick or treating. I'm honestly a working adult, so trick or treating is not hasn't been a thing for a while. But our house likes to give out candy. We even like do some. We like to tally it up and see like, ooh, 30 kids came to our neighborhood and look how many we gave out. So came like a game. It was like, let's see how many kids come to the door. So that was really fun. Obviously that hasn't happened too recently, but some kids still do. But it's been less. So yeah. I think this year it'll probably pick up, hopefully. That'd be nice. Because we buy so much candy, you know, in bulk and everything to give out to them as we plan for it. So that'd be nice to get through our sort of inventory that we got. Okay. Let's put the top brim on a top layer here. So we'll get maybe this kind of a shape. So I'm actually drawing on top of the layer that I was just drawing. So this is the only drawing that I got so far. I understand with this Toon drawing why they don't put the Bezier curves on every curve, but it's like at the pen tool you're pretty much almost expected to use it. So now realizing that maybe this doesn't actually make sense. Maybe it needs to be like up here and then a little bit shorter. And this part's the on the underside of the top brim. I've never been good at this. Trying to figure out how to draw these. Welcome, Ben. I'm trying to draw a hat. It's going, I think. How you doing? I'll give you a nice happy hello. Let's see. October. Well, I think we're gonna go out grocery shopping today, so I'll keep that in mind to see if I see any. I'll be on the lookout for those Christmas decorations. It's like Christmas is all year, because you get like Christmas in July and then it's October. And then it's like, well, it's February, you know, it's kind of, still thinking about it. You know, it's only 11 months away, you know, you can get some more. Never have too much Christmas. So this is the underside. This makes more sense to me. So I will put this like this. And I'll show you the rigging technique in a bit. If I'm gonna pull that off, so get rid of this sketch. Let's hide the other sketch, which I probably should have made a function. I guess I could do that now. Let's make a function checkbox, enable disable node custom sketch, and this will be Izzy C sketch. Spell beep. Put it in Izzy comp beep. So I got this object here. Try to make this a little larger. So, but you see it down here. if I now select it, put it off to the side, let's make it a little bit larger here. If I now select it, the node that I selected over there can now be disabled and re-put on if I want to. So I can just click that wherever I need to unsee that. And we got the hat. Okay. So now I want to re-layer these. So I want this to be on top, so I'm gonna have to get rid of my sketch layer first. I'm gonna put this on the bottom, put this one, gotta swap these two. So for now, I can't put them on top of each other or else it'll get really bad. I think that's good. So line, color, underlay. Don't have an overlay. I probably could with the beads. Okay. Let's fill this in with a lighter color. Just for now, just to paint drop it. Oh. Okay. So you see how this is incorrect layering. So we're gonna do put the rotatey button up there, put it all on top, and then I get the layer selector node, put it on there, so it automatically chooses these ones. That just happens to be what I want. And then I want an underlay layer. So I have two noodles coming out from the drawing, where this one selects the top three, and this one's going to be underlay one, which is the bottom of the hat. And I can then use this composite to my advantage, where I can noodle it and put it at the back end, and see if that worked. Unfortunately, but probably because it's layered too high up. It might not work. Okay. That would have been cool, huh? Or if that worked, would have been able to get that to go. Okay. So if that's gonna be a problem. Where do I put this? I put this down here. It's still there. I think it's getting upset because I'm honestly not sure. I think there's too many other 3Ds going on here. We can go with perspective mode and see what's going on here. So we kind of select right button here. Oh yeah, you can't move things to perspective in the perspective mode. Okay, so we'll have to make a new drawing. The underlay. And then basically just re-noodle this. What we could do is have this top hat control this peg, which is controlled by the head. So we move head, all the witch hat top will move along with it, and this will be a child. So we can get rid of these now. Move that one. I'll copy and paste and cut it, put it into here. See, we don't see it because it's not noodled into the other composite down here. Beep. So I see that the problem is that it's still Z depth. Select it, change pivot point, and then we just kind of move it back in space like that. So that's how we can get around that if that didn't work with the original. Usually the way that I did it the first time usually works, but I guess with the more advanced 3D stuff, that might not work. Okay, cool. Got it though. I'm seeing I probably want to kind of just jimmy this more. A little bit more smaller. Maybe more up. So you just kind of play with the perspective of this. And get something more like that. Could also just make this a little bit smaller just in general. A little bit shorter. There we go. I'm sorry for like where I am. But look, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, Raven. Thanks a little for your input. Thank you a lot. Alright, see ya. Let's see though. So I'm trying to figure this out. I think just kind of squishing it is helping it. Yeah, there we go. Maybe bringing this more towards there. And then obviously bringing all these down. Is that better? It's kind of... Let's get in there. Move that over. Sure. Alright. Alright, cool. Getting very spooky. Welcome, lad. Very nice. Alright. And see if I can just click this to get my sketch back. There's a little node here that connects to my sketch drawing layer, so I can enable or disable it. Okay, so now we can work on the costume. How we doing on time? Pretty good. I'll probably go back and do more colors, but I just want to slap all this in first. Leg should be easy, which hasn't been the case when originally rigging this. So, let me turn off her head. This will be easier to see her body. Okay, to think about this in a certain way, where I could just draw on top. Literally just on top of her leg here. So I have these in separate sections. So the leg has a shoulder, an upper leg, then like this lower leg, and then the hoof. So what I could do is just make, well, if I change these, then that'll work. Let's see. There's a lot of like thinking ahead to make sure that this whole system doesn't break. So what I could do is probably do the same thing, where I just kind of make like a sister to each of these drawings. So I could do FL1 front leg, 1 shoulder witch, and then upper, because it's front leg, I'll know what that means. Lower, and that should be good. So now I have these drawing objects. Let's see. I want the shoulder first. So noodle it into the peg transformation node and just make sure that goes on top. And then with this one, I should be able to just kind of draw on top. Let's make a new color. Maybe more magenta. And I can't really see, but I don't really need the sketch layer for now. So go to my, which one? And see that it's distorting because of the deformer here. So I probably want to go back a frame to where it's more standard. I want to see how high that gets there, essentially. What I could do is also take this out, go to the shoulder, try and copy it into the witch, and then just recolor it with the colors I want. I want to paint. And then I'll get a brighter color for there. So essentially now I have two versions of her shoulder. And that's because I want to make sure I'm non-destructive. That does not work. I'm just thinking in terms of whether or not I want to move her body, then that should still stay there. I feel like if I put it directly on top, I feel like it'll be too destructive. Destructive as if then I won't have the original drawing that I had before. Or another way is if I could make the witch version of the arm the priority, and have that be the first one that is shown, and then have another duplicate that then is my regular color version. And then I won't have to have twice as many drawings. So this is where you think ahead of like, wait a minute, is what I'm doing actually the best solution? So I'm thinking that might actually be better, because then I'll have less stuff and still carry that. So yeah, okay, let's do that. Cool. Hello. Art baby. All right. You too. Wesley. Okay. So what I want to do, I already have two, but that's because this one is the front view. So it switches between drawing 1 and then drawing 2 and then back to 1. Just so I have a different picture for the front view. What I want to do is duplicate it and keep, because it's going to swap between, it knows that it's going to swap between 1 and 2. I can have 3 be my regular one and then go back to 1 and then color change this one. And the only reason I'm going to keep a consistent one is so, I think I colored the wrong one. The only way I'm going to keep this one is so I can have an extra version that I can swap to, that if I need it to be back to normal, I can just swap it to this one instead, while maintaining the witch one to be the priority one. So I think I'm going to do that for all these. So I'm going to duplicate it, see which one goes to. So it goes to 2 here first. Let's go to 1. Remove this. So I want 1 to be witch. Ugh. Color that in. And so go out to here. That'll work. Okay. So it's just gonna be a little tedious with all these now, but this one's gonna be interesting. That's I have to draw a new drawing style. We're gonna draw this part of it. There we go. Seeing that the in-between curve there. It's not colored. It's what to do. Figure out where the hierarchy is at. I'm just thinking about how Tell Your Tale had every character had a Halloween costume, and my only thought during that was like, that's so much R&D to like design and create full characters for every character to have the costume. I was like, man, that's so much work. Because not only is it like, you know, it's not like, oh, it's Sunny with a new hat. It's like, it's Sunny with a new hat with every single angle in 2D. You would have like a front view and a side view and a 3/4 view. And sometimes it'd be asymmetric, and it's like, whoa, that's a bit much. That's too much. Okay, so what I want to see is, I think, because this part might be the defending part. So if we recolored this to be there, yep, there we go. And it's only kind of sloppy there because it's not exactly lined up with the rest of her hoof exactly. And that should be good there. There we go. Whew, that wasn't too tricky. So now we got one, we can technically copy and paste it to the other one. So let me make sure that everything is looking good. I know the front view has different pictures. I'm not going to do a front view. That's why I'm saying like how tricky it's going to be to keep having different versions of all this. Let's see. Yeah, let me get your head so you can see how that's looking. Got hat. So we're getting there. We got so far. I can say hello, Seti. Rar. Welcome. So what I want is to reproduce all that pictures. So what I want is to do same thing. So go out, duplicate it for each of these sections, recolor them. So get the shoulder. So that should be slightly faster, as I should be knowing what I'm doing as I make a mistake. Clicking all that. Clicked it twice to get a duplicate picture there. Keep holding down the paint bucket tool when I don't technically need to. Okay. And duplicate it. Again, if I wanted to, I don't technically have to duplicate it, but it's just for me to make sure that I'm happy. And so I always have the option to go back if I need to and redo it. Okay. I think I messed up because I wanted to get that design on it, so I probably want to just undo that real quick. And we'll get the lower design here. So I can copy this piece, bring it over to this lower. Yeah. Paste it. So now we got this. Kind of jimmy this back. There we go. Hi, hey Mario. Mario, welcome. Nice custom. Thank you. You too. Let's see, just kind of jimmy this back. Okay. I'm going to go back to here, color this part in. That's my cutter section or whatever. I'm going to move this up. Oh yeah, I got you. I'm just so used to reading the exactness of like in work most of what I have to do is spell checking. So like I'm just so used to reading it exactly how it is to make sure that I get all the names for Melody Awards people. Make sure their names are exactly spelled the same and correctly. So it's like I'm just more of a stickler for like making sure that I get the exactness for everything there. There's a hat. Probably should expose the hat for a little longer. So I can bring this drawing back and forth. So that's exposed a little longer. There we go. What do you dress up as a tiger before? I'm gonna guess 4. It's Halloween. I'm changing my costume each week. Can't settle down or can't choose a costume that I wanted. So, doing all of them. So, next week will be a different costume. Yeah. So hopefully if you watch these in a series and watch them each week, you'll get a different experience no matter what. Oh yeah, let me see. I can get my super serious rarer. Okay, that's enough of that. Torso sketch. This will be tricky. It's the same kind of reasons, but I think for hair might cover it. It's probably that our torsos. You can only see the yellow part to there. So I want the whole thing to be yellow. It would be nice, but the leg's gonna get in front of it. But maybe the leg can be this part. So maybe I could just color that part. So now I got a system for this kind of stuff now, so I can just. Ooh, the leg's kind of wiggly. Gonna get to here, duplicate it, undo it, and then go back to 1, and then design it. Now my sketch is gone. This is only exposed for 1 frame. Okay. Maybe Scott Pilgrim. Oh, that'd be awesome. Is that the comic version or the movie version? They're pretty much the same, but I guess whichever version you're prefer. I guess the movie version would be easier because it'd be already live action. So you can just kind of pick out what the costume designer choose. See what we got here. So I'm thinking probably need to get this to be way more forward. I had this trouble with Sunny as well as that her little neck chest thing here was in front of her arm again, so it's kind of got in the way. What I can do is just kind of play with that though. See what we get. Not sure. That's alright. You got a week or so. 2 weeks. 2 weeks and a bit. Let's get the color everywhere. Maybe they're not magnetized. There we go. There we go. So we'll like to have not like that. Do I have stroke? I need a stroke. Okay. Select all these, flatten it. Then I can change it to be this color. Change this color to this color. There you go. Okay. So, now I got that part. Now I can do this shirt. I can wonder why this is a little bit thicker outline. There you go. That's 5, that's 7. interesting. I think it's hidden behind her. Let's see. Are you animating? Well, welcome. Are you animating as you are drawing? Is that how it's done? Usually in productions, in much larger, like, whole studio productions, you usually have, like, a character designer. You would first have, like, a script to decide what you need, a storyboard who might design how some rough customs might be done, and then you have, like, a character designer who would make, like, a sheet that designed the final version in color and line work for how the costume would look. And then you would have a rigger to design the vector version and puppet version, like how I'm doing here. I'm vectoring the costume that I want. And then, way later on, it'll be then actually animated. And then, yeah, so usually the process is a lot more pipeline and much more separated than you think. That goes for like 2D frame by frame style as well, so it's not is what I'm was thinking more of, like how is puppet designs are done, especially the show is designed as well, especially G4 where they would have dedicated character designers and then puppet builders. Usually separate, I would think. Separate people. So you probably wouldn't have in a large team character designer or storyboarder also animating. But if you had like, you know, like a group school project, you might do everything to get you used to the process itself. But usually a much larger team, you'd be kind of relegated to like one section or one delegated part of the whole piece. Let's move this down a little bit. There we go. Let's see, just not all together. Yep, animating is last, everything's planned already. Yes. So you plan everything, and then you would then move on to animating. You might have some layouts or animatics. Animatics are more the animated version of the storyboards, but they're usually, you know, not part of the actual animation itself process. Let me think about it. It's kind of at the same time, maybe. You can have a storyboard or an animatic kind of designed at the same time. Most Marvel shows are fully animated before shooting, so they can get a rough sense of all the action before they shoot anything. So they have like a 3D animated version of the whole movie before they even start shooting. And that helps the directors kind of like pick out what kind of shots and stuff so they can plan for like 3D and other craziness with a larger scale of everything. So they're not being overwhelmed with trying to see what everything's going on at the same time. They can just kind of go, okay, we're going to have Spider-Man be on a bridge, and then what we're expecting to happen is going to be, you know, we're going to see some of the street lights and stuff, but because like 80% of the movie is going to be CG, if you're on set, you're not going to really know what's going on. You can't see all of that. So, because it doesn't exist yet. So, it's important to really plan things out super in front of everything on set before you start shooting. So, it's just, it seems, you know, self-explanatory, but it's like it's actually super important to not skip the planning stages of all of that in any kind of medium. So yeah. Let's see. Hello. Rar. Welcome, welcome. Hi, cartoons. You probably know about that whole process of making the animation and just filmmaking in general, I guess. It's way too much going on with one fighting Marvel. What if I plan it out? Usually plan about it. Exactly. It's usually just like have a script, and hopefully it's not like George Lucas where he had like a quote that he was like, yeah, I finished the script for episode 1. It's pretty basic, and and there's a lot of they fight in it. Like as if it's like, yeah, it's planned enough out with the script enough to kind of get to the point of like the important parts of yeah, eventually we'll figure it out that I guess they'll they're supposed to fight in this scene, so you don't really have like exactness when you figure it out beforehand, I guess. But I'd say it's still important to like think about it in some way, rather than just going on set and be like, okay, so they fight, what's gonna happen? How do we do that? And that's how I do my stuff too with my animations, where I like to script it out first. I like to make a Google Drive, you know, just kind of like a nice text editor, and kind of write it out in like in a storybook kind of style, where you like script it out and saying like, oh, Derpy goes and starts to fly. She feels sad. Or she needs to, she's fighting the snake ponies on the train. She's a little scared of like, what's that about? And she like tries to hide the bag that she's carrying, as she knows it's super precious, and it's like has to be careful about it. But the snakes are too sneaky. They, one of them, it's up on the ceiling. It steals it from her. You know, that kind of wording of it, of like trying to figure it out. And then I would take those notes and make it into a storyboard and decide like how I want everything to flow visually. So it's a multi-step process to get where I want. It's not all built in one day, you know. It's kind of like I gotta decide how I want things as I go. I'm wondering why this color art layer is a little dampening my mood here. So I have this on top. How did this work? Oh, because it's above the knee. I could just make this shorter then. Yep. And then move this up. Yeah, it's super important to take notes no matter what you do. Because especially if you're going to work on a project for like a super long time, especially with my movie, just having something to look at and refer to back is invaluable to have. As I try to figure out how to do this crazy tech work here. Just want to get rid of the color and have the overlay. Because I try to like storyboard the entire movie, and then I can just refer to that whatever I need to. Be like, okay, what's supposed to happen? You know, like 5 months later, you know, or sometimes like 3 years later, I come back to the scene and I'm like, I don't know what I was supposed to be doing. And it's like, oh yeah, I have this whole already pre-made storyboard that I can use. There we go. So it's like super helpful to have that. So I'd recommend making a storyboard. Even if you feel like, oh, I got this all in my head, like I don't need it. It's like, sometimes you're gonna, you know, might forget some things, or as you start working on it, you start realizing like, oh, wait a minute. This might not work, or this is gonna be more complicated than I thought. Like, ooh, maybe I should scale this down in some way, or rethink this. Or think like, ooh, maybe this isn't flowing well, or like you start to watch it back as a movie. With animated storyboard, like an animatic, and I'd be like, oh, that's not what I wanted. So it becomes this huge process of like what I want to happen, and then making sure I understand like the realities of it, to be like, okay, well, maybe this won't work as I thought. I've had that happen a lot, where I would try to had a good idea, you know, I'd be like, oh, well, this will work. And then I'd start to plan it out, and it's like, I can't figure out how to get this to work. Or, you know, you start planning it out, or like start to storyboard it and be like, well, if she's facing this way and the camera's facing this way, if I don't want to break the 180 rule, how am I supposed to get her to be in the next position? That's not going to work. Like, uh-oh, you know. So I was like, okay, I'll have to restart this and rethink about it. Reconvene. Sure. So for this one, I'll have it be on top, and I'll get it from position of that. Let's see. After storybook mode, then I go script mode, or storybook mode, exactly. Okay, things that makes no sense. Second is storyboarding, editing, and replanning. Third is scripting. Well, first I do scripting, and then storyboarding, and editing. So character design happen after first storybook mode. Let's see. I always do get this mixed up. I'm always a little bit, I guess it depends, you know, that's probably why. Let me see. I can find, hang on, I'm gonna open up my file explorer here, just one sec. I have a good thing I can show you. Where'd it go? I thought I had this. There was Infinity Train that had the director show like this perfect pipeline for making a cartoon. There it is. Okay. What if I can... How would I share this? If I wanted to have you guys look at this. So maybe I'll share this maybe in the Discord. Because obviously it's going to be a little tricky to show this. But this is the Infinity Train, which is a cartoon production tree. So this is how a real story, real cartoon develops their one cartoon. So it's a multifaceted, huge pipeline that just keeps going, and just like, I'm going fast so you don't have to really look at it, but it's like goes over and over and over. There's like ship to America, so there's overseas production that probably complicates it. But even in here, it's like it's not really clear of like you write things, script, because you immediately give it to a storyboarder, and then board team showing references, sitting down, figure out what things they need to do. Concept art is completed. So does that mean the concept art was somehow started? This is like doing a whole season, so they split up the script, and then there's a board team that pitches the thumbnail pitch. So board artists, yeah, I'll definitely put this in this Discord. I'll do that right now, so don't forget. Let's do that. Hang on. I have to click this open again. I'll put it in the share tent. Beep. So there you go. Have fun with that. Discord is in the description. It's a Greenwater Club. So first you have to have a Discord account, and you can click that link in the description to join the Greenwater Club, and you can zoom in and have fun with that. Otherwise, I'm not really sure what other ways you like to see that. But yeah, there you go. Obviously, I didn't make that. That's the Infinity Train people, director people who designed it. So no credit on that for me. But yeah, there's still even reading it, it's still like a little confusing of like how do things when things actually start. Because like again, it's like trying to do a whole season's worth while also trying to explain the regular process of it. So it's like, okay. But I usually just kind of do it my own way anyway. Of how I go about the pipeline of it. But the basics is script, storyboard, character design, puppet rigging, and I guess storyboard / animatic. It's the same thing. So script, storyboard, animatic, character planning, character designing, puppet rigging, layout animation, rough animation, complete animation, and then all the fun post-production, music, sound effects, and final version. So yeah, obviously that sounds really quick and super simplified, because it is, and it's multifaceted, you know, multiple things happening sometimes at the same time, or you're kind of going back and forth on it, where it's like, ooh, well, this didn't work, or something technical happens, or story happens, something's get a break along the way, so it's like, what do you have to do to account for that? And yeah, just thinking of all the hiccups that happen. But otherwise, it's always really fun. Especially being an independent animator. It's like being my own movie director, which is always what I always aspire to be. Watching like a whole bunch of movies and watching the DVD behind the scenes and really listen to the audio commentaries to like really understand the process. So I feel like I have a fairly good grasp about it now. It's really fun. Would like to select the dots. Or not. Whoa. Where's my toe? There's my toe. There we go. These are just gonna be little jelly beans. I remember like taking notes, you know, mental little notes of just like watching Spy Kids 3D as a kid. And just like really trying to like understand the green screen and just being super impressed by it and be like, man, this is magnum opus of what I want to aspire to. Like, I want to make my own Spy Kids 3D. They'd even like, I was trying to like, you know, as a kid, like wanted to make my own movie, was like, oh, I'm gonna design my own movie, I'm gonna make a script, and I was gonna use my friend, and it was like, oh, this will be great, and I forgot to, you know, actually tell my friends. So I was like, oh, wait, I didn't actually tell you. I want to make a movie, and I already designed your character and your whole arc and everything. It's like, oh, maybe I shouldn't. So I didn't actually go anywhere past that, but it was a fun little thing. That was great. Okay, awesome, perfect. Glad I can help with that. There's tons of other resources, and obviously all the stuff I've been mentioning, all the behind the scenes of anything is going to teach you about filmmaking. BL2. Backlight 2. But yeah. The saddest part is that when I went to college, I was like, ooh, film study. This will be fun. This will be right up my alley. This will be exactly what I'm, you know, gonna look forward to and inspired to, you know. you know, how much fun I'm gonna learn out of like film study, because like a lot of my college stuff was either After Effects, which I was like not plussed about, or Illustrator, typography, or let's see, that kind of stuff, and math in English. Because apparently, to get into the college, you have to be smarter than a college student with the math test to get in. And I was like, what? So they gave me like the electronic test of like saying like, are you smart? And it's like, I think so, but I still have, you know, I don't know, a high school education. So I was like, you're asking questions that I don't think I've learned. So it's like, I don't know if that's fair. So they were like, yeah, well, because you're only as smart as, you know, what you actually learned in high school, that means you have to do the, you know, take the college math classes. And I was like, well, what? So, anyway, what am I doing? Going too fast. You put it in here. The film class was taught by my English teacher, which I had a little disgruntled view against him. He was good, but it's like, yeah, just such an English teacher. I was like, this isn't fun. So one of my least favorite classes was then the film class. So I watched a couple movies, you know, as homework, but it's like, well, now I have to spend like a couple hours, you know, watching a movie per week and then trying to do English homework, dissecting how the characters feel in each scene and what do things mean and themes and stuff. And it's like, ah, man. I want to learn about mocap. I want to learn about how to stage an action scene, you know, anything anything more interesting. But yeah, it was all like, so Jake is, you know, doing this and he's going down the river. That means that he was sad, and this represents the theme of sadness. And it's like, ah, jeez. How many motifs can you spot in this scene? And it's like, ah, man. I guess for me, like, I'm not, you know, into that kind of emotion-y stuff, or like that kind of like dissecting it for story, or, you know, real. I'm more of the meta side of like how technically it was produced, of like how the filmmakers went about like a technical challenge. So like to hear like the how you should be feeling watching the movie, I was like, ah, man. That's not what I was feeling good about. Okay. Hi you guys. Welcome. Woo 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 woo. Hi Winter. Let's see. Is that a good for sales lead, but it could afford my graphic design degree. Wow. Until I was smart enough, even though I'm pretty. That's alright. You seem pretty smart to me. You definitely have a better hand for drawing than I do. My calligraphy of like, every time I write my name on our invoices for work, we always have to say like who produced it and who designed it on a sheet. And so every single time I had to like write it twice on a sheet. I was like, okay. But I would have to write it, and I've always been not happy with my signature. That's like been always upset about it. So every single day I'd like look at my signature and be like, ah, man. That's not great. Hi Wesley. There you go. Yeah, we don't like that many emojis at one time. I think probably like 3 or 4 is probably the max. But thank you though, and welcome. Could do is quickly blot in some more colors in here, and then we could probably call it good and see what else we can do in the meantime. So obviously I wanted to get as much as going as possible. Let's see. But yeah, the other classes in college were good, especially my topography, which ironically became the most important to me in my actual work now, because 90% of what I do is related to topography now. As I make the plates, nameplates basically for all the winners. So if there's like a T-ball team that won, I would have to say like the Tigers 2022 kid name here, and I have to like put that onto a like a nameplate. Ooh, that's there you go. So you have like team 2022 and then name. So it's like I get to make this in graphic design, and then, you know, I usually use my margins and like try to center it, and then try to maybe rule of thirds, who knows, center it that way, and then make like 12 of them for each person, and then send that out and print that out on the laser engraver. But yeah, so I've had to use all of my 1/4 of topography class that I learned to actually use as a practical job, which was a bit surprising for me. That all I learned in college was, you know, Illustrator and After Effects and Photoshop, and there was a little bit of storyboarding in one of them. There was like a film class that was actually more production. I think the kids weren't that enthused about it, so it's kind of, our morale for that one's kind of low. We weren't super enthralled in it, but it was fun. For what it was fun. Let's see how that looks. If I think it's too bright, do we bring it towards white? Gonna pick somewhere happy. Okay. That's our fill. We get our outline. Is music really low? There we go. Gotta get that jazz a little brighter there. There we go. I might need a stroke here because it apparently thinks that this is 2 lines. Or it's 1 line, but I want it to be not 1. Let's move that down. There we go. So what I want is to select everything, including the strokes, and flatten it. And so now I can recolor it back into there. There we go. And this line is the bead line, so let's make it a little bit darker. And we'll use it here as well. Or not. There we go. Excuse me. Put that towards the bottom. And on our overlay, I can copy and paste these bips. So we can select everything here. Boop, boop, boop. As bad as you fall in love with an app related for automation drawing that isn't Adobe Sketchbook app. That's not bad. I would say that if you're trying to get for a industry, you know, job or whatever, that they might want to have you use industry standard apps and whatnots, but it's not. If it's for a personal project and you're just having fun with it, then obviously that's totally okay. Nothing wrong with that. I guess I'm just not familiar enough with it to give any opinion on it, I guess, more than you do you. I've tried some other apps and stuff like for drawing. Like I tried Open Toons, which I thought was gonna be pretty fun, but I did it before I really learned Toon Boom, so I was kind of overwhelmed with not really knowing like more complicated animation software than Flash. So I was like, whoa, this isn't Flash. So I was like, ah man, what am I getting myself into? So I kind of gave up on it. Now I'm using Toon Boom and I'm like, I'm getting it for some reason. So you never know, if I go back and try Open Toons again, maybe it'll work out better. Oh, that looks sick. I'm happy with that. That looks cool. Okay. Let's see, was there anything else I wanted to do? There's a belt here. Let's try that. We have till the hour for when I wanna continue working on this. Let's see what's where. Okay. So I can do, let's make another shape here. Let's see. And what I mean by what I was saying was that you can do whatever you want, but if you want to get certain jobs, they might be like, you can't use Microsoft Paint to animate or show. What? Thank you for the applying, but also I don't think we can work together. Just based on how our softwares aren't literally gonna connect to each other. So, but obviously if you're learning or trying different things, that's okay. You don't expect to be like, well, I know MS Paint, so I'm an animator, and I can get any job I want. And it's like, I feel like there's always, there's always a new software, so you always still have to be used to getting new stuff, trying out new projects and everything, new softwares, and trying different things in each software too, or using the start from a project that would bring out the what am I thinking of? It shows how the best features, I guess, of the software first as your first project, so you can see like, wow, I'm using this software because it can do this. If you have a 3D software that's like really good at water or something, maybe want to have like a first project with it to see like how good is the water, and be like, wow, because then you can get impressions of it and be like, wow, if I ever have a project where I need water, maybe I'll use this software. Like I'm using Blender, and I know that it can do 3D. So whenever I have like a project that's like, ooh, I need to use 3D, it'd be like, ooh, cool, I'll use Blender for this project, so I know it can do 3D. It's just kind of simple stuff like that, of like using the right tool for the job. And if you want to go crazy with it and be like, well, I know this software can't do 3D, but I want it to, or I have a project where I need to use it, and it's like, well, you're gonna have to fight against it, and you might have a worse time than just using a 3D software. So stuff like that, where it's just like, use what's gonna actually work. Let's use the same color as this for this part to keep that symmetry. I see it in my little line there. It's on the top. Let's bring it down. There we go. Is. Okay, cool. It's not half bad. I think it's more consistent than the Sunny one. Character design. But let's see, we can definitely go back in. I think there was a couple other warranty details I could do, especially clean up some stuff. We could add more seams and add more little details here and there. Let's see. So probably choose a darker color there. See what's on what. And I can kind of go in and add little seam X's. Maybe it just needs to be on one side. And I think I probably want to make these a little lighter. See what color is going to work better here. There we go. Go back into here. We can do a little touch up here. We could use it the same color and then just kind of add a little bit there. On the other side here. I can even make X's. There you go. For some of these shoes, I wonder if I want to add something. I do see that this leg is behaving unexpectedly. And I'm gonna figure out why. There's this, you can see this line here. Do I want to care enough to figure this out? Is the next question. Or I select the outline here and then beep it and then that fixes it. What we can do is I would like this to be a real dangle where I can actually animate it and can like have physics or dangle physics and all that. So I probably want to separate that out and rig that up to be fun. So what I can do is add a new drawing or a new picture. Izzy hat dangle and still have it connect to everything. What I can do is put all this into a new box. The box is just visual. It doesn't mean anything. But we connect it back to the hat there. And so we'll put it behind visually there. So that'll noodle. Okay. So what I want is to get the hat. Wherever that went. There we are. I want to cut this part into here and get the string part, cut that into here. So what I want is to make a straight version of this. Selected both ends of it. Straight. And then moving these back into a straighter position. So I'm like realigning it so I can actually have fun with this. Okay. So what I can do is get the angle of rotation. I'm going to add a deformer. I click in some of these buttons. I know Izzy's kind of having fun, but that's just, it's still a glitch. I don't know. Adding 2 lines here. Trying to line this up. We can play with it if it doesn't work, but I should be able to now wiggle that. Should grab everything in a nice even way there. Cool. Okay. So that works. And then, should we go for it? Let's try it. So I can just copy and paste from down here. Grab everything here, except that. Copy. Wow. Put it up here. So these bibbles can tell Harmony to have different properties for this object here. So I will rig this up so now it's gonna take an effect. Okay, so what this is all saying is take into account physics. Already you can kind of see it kind of moves up. Probably be good to make sure that all these exist for a little bit longer. Already see a little bit of there, so that's working. As she kind of shifts over to that pose, there's like a slight amount of pop as things kind of move around. Gotta select all these bips and add drawings to those. So everything should stay there. That's all good. Okay, so now if I select the, I can't select the head doodle. Head. If I go down here, try to unselect. So I can have her nod. Her relations kind of move her head in some way. Trying to grab this donut. So already you can see now she got that going. Cool. Okay, so that's working, but I see like it's not exactly working as I intend. So I need to move the points here to be at the top and bottom here. So that might work. It's a little stiff. So maybe, let's see. Volume max. Let's see. I think I want to, we can increase inertia. Inertia Y, inertia X. Tension scale, tension Z 0, inertia Z 0. Measurement is no. Yeah. So already, all I did was pretty much copy and paste from another working piece, but see how easy it is to kind of set up a system so that now this kind of dingle now dingles. And I didn't have to animate that. It just all just kind of just works. So there you go. But of course the tricky part is setting this all up and figuring out what works best for all this stuff here. So there's still some artistry into it, but most of it is now just kind of, now that it's set up, it's set up. So, and I want to make a darker version of this. And the think I'm actually selecting it. There we go. So I'm gonna make this and just kind of bring it down just a bit. There we go. Okay, now I'm happy. So I can get start, stop, repeat. Okay, so now, so I didn't have to animate the dangle of it, but we can see like it's moving on its own. The hair might need some finessing, but on the whole it's actually moving. So there you go. We got it. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward to add all these little extra features that it's like I don't have to animate absolutely everything at all times, but I still have to set up the system so that it can automatically animate it. So there's that. Oh boy. And if I want to, I can even go back in and use the deformers that I set up and add a little bit more into it, but I can use what I have now and kind of push these poses a little bit more and see if that works. It's trying to fight against it, and so I could try to go back in and like super smooth it out, but you get the point that I can like add more curves and add more artistry into it by pushing it and pulling it a little bit more. But I got something of a base by having it technically be accurate physics, and so then it's just like going back through and making sure that all of it can all works. So there you go. So I'll probably just go back and like make sure that that's even more smooth and play with some of these other stuff, but mostly instead of trying to figure out the hair physics for myself and being like, well, she's moving it this way, so that means inertia is this way, so that means the hair has to flow this way at this point, and then like go back and it's like, well, now she's going this way, so it's like each pose and I have to like figure it out. Or I can use it to kind of get some sort of base that I can then use, and then most of my time then is just cleaning it up and exaggerating it when I need to, or unexaggerating it so it's much more so it's simplified. So get rid of those so I can focus on that. But yeah, so that's how I use this kind of technique for I think for all of the G, maybe not the first one, where Izzy threw a rock down at Sunny's feet and we had all those meme pictures on it, all those different pictures. I don't remember if I had hair physics in that one. Maybe I did, but definitely the Sunny Falls we had, I added the hair physics, so that was just mostly just me just cleaning it up instead of having to calculate it and have a physics degree to understand inertia and velocity and position and rotation and scale and stuff for every single pose. So now it's just like making sure that that's all nice and working. So there you go. And we got Izzy. There she is. There she go. Yeah. And if we want to, then we can just, you know, go in and spend more time in making sure that the blinks work. So we can kind of go and add a blink. So I went through every single frame and then changed the drawing that I've pre-made, and then got that going. So I got a blink. And you just keep going through different layers and be like, oh, well, the tail needs to move and then the arm needs to move. So that's why I kind of go through it. Either I kind of go through each pose in like extreme, excuse me, I go through each extreme pose and try to block those out. And try to go through a whole sequence or shot and be like, okay, well, she's at this pose, and then 20 frames later she's at this pose, to try to make sure that that's exact right. Or I kind of do like this and be like, oh, I need certain poses here and there, just kind of move one piece, and then that leads into making other parts move, or I need other expressions and stuff. So I could definitely just kind of go in and really having fun with changing the expression here, so I can get to a shoosh. And completely changing it, and it's just like how long did that really take to do, you know? And it's like, we're done. Or I can go into the body, whole system here. And super exaggerated like that. And boop. You know, it's just like how quickly was that just to add an entire, you know, new layer of animation that completely changes it. You know, the whole feeling of it now is a lot more extreme and more fun looking, more bouncy. But yeah, that's how I would do a very, very quick proof of concept animation maybe of this, and then be like, okay, that's good, and then I might go back through and clean it up and set it on its way. Here we go. Oh, thank you. It's a little hard to read the text on it, but thank you. What is it before it goes away? Oh no, oh no. What is that? Oh no. Sorry. Thank you though. Boop boop boop. Alright. With that, thank you. I think we'll go to toaster time. I can get rid of the dots for you there. There you go. But yeah, there we go. Whew. Toaster time. Do. Alright. Well, I just started toaster time, so maybe we'll go for like 20 minutes. I do have some errands that I do need to do and probably eat before then too. It's really not too long. If there's anything more interesting, if there's like an interesting conversation that comes up, then maybe it'll go on for a while. So it'll just depend on how much we got stuff to talk about in general, I guess. Yeah. If you gotta leave, that's okay. Content is in sort of order, but if you'd like to talk with me, this will be talking time. So yeah, I'll get some water. So I can talk for you guys a little bit more, excuse me, with better throat. What's been going on? There's actually been a lot that happened this week, huh? I did watch the Tell Your Tale animations for the Halloween one, so I'm not completely out of the loop with that. And Making Mark has been getting better each episode. I know I started to really get upset about the first episode of Chapter 2 of Episode 1. Was not that... Well, actually, Episode 1 of Making Mark was not great, but Episode 2 can maybe a little bit better. And each one I've been watching has been better and better. So I think as it kind of progresses as a story, like the first episode, you can't really get too far with, you can't get too far with developments and stuff. So thank you, Dakota. See you then. Alrighty. And you're kind of like landlocked in a bottle. With the first couple episodes, because you can't really get far enough with the whole Misty subplot. I haven't got too far to really know what's really going on for that, but I'm glad they're expanding on that, and that's been fun to watch how that unfolds and figuring out what they really want. But each time they kind of have different motives. Because it seems like they want magic, and then sometimes they want the dragon, and sometimes they just want the ponies. It doesn't seem to be consistent, so it's kind of hard in that sense to be like, what is Opaling's motive? I'm not sure. Does it seem to be keep changing, or maybe it's just to gain control or have more power wherever she is. So I'm only like a third of the way through, so I'm not sure how it ends. But getting there, it just needs to. I just need to have time to actually watch it. So, but yeah, yeah, kind of going back and forth between the 2D and 3D ones have very different genres and how they approach the storytelling, or just the humor or the drama of it is very, very different. So it's all right. Yeah. Which one do I prefer? I think I probably prefer Making Mark, because I think it has more of a developing storyline rather than the slice of life wackiness of Tiger Tail. So yeah. Hi Wesley. There you go. I think it was just upset at how it's kind of like not a word. A little emoticon. That's a classic emoticon. Is that a wink? I think it's just a colon. Cool. All right. Yay. Yeah, I think the 3D series is more interesting, but I do like the 2D series for a little bit better of some of the jokes or some of the story. I don't know. Like I want to like the 2D series because I like 2D more as a medium, but I think the 3D one has got more of that more drama and interesting plot lines than Tiger Tail. So yeah, I don't mind 3D. I obviously use 3D for the Paper Derpy movie, where all the backgrounds are like 99% are all 3D now. So yeah. Spent a long time in Blender to develop the backgrounds. So I'm okay with 3D. It's just, yeah, it's like a traditionalist. So it's like I want to see more 2D. See more 2D movies are definitely needed. Definitely outside of anime movies, I want to see more cartoons and yeah. The was Winnie the Pooh like the last 2D animated movie from Disney? They had Tiara, Frog one. Was that after? I don't know. It's like be nice to have like a sequel to Frog one, and then you could have another excuse to do 2D and then see how that goes again. I think we're more because everything's more Spider-Verse aligned with graphic design, where every movie now wants to be Spider-Verse, so it's like, let's just make it Spider-Verse looking, and then there's a movie that's like look exactly like Spider-Verse, and it's like, that's not the point of the whole, art shift revolution, is to not actually make your movie actually Spider-Verse, is to make it so it's more Mitchell versus the Machines and actually unique and interesting graphic design that's not literally Spider-Verse. I don't know what it's called, but it's like watching it, it's like, wait a minute, why is this so close? So it's like, man, that's not the point. It was to move away from photorealistic or Pixar style clean looking detailed photorealistic and less stylized animation, is to move into more stylized and more interesting, unique graphic design. Who was the last one? That's really sad. Oh man. But yeah, just to see 2D come back, because I think we're ready. It's been like, if Pooh was the last one, that's probably like 2010-ish. So, that's when Avatar, the first one, came out. Maybe we're ready for Avatar 2. So maybe back to 2D. That'd be cool. um, and if we're not ready, then maybe cell shaded or stylized 3D might be fun. Um, whatever that League of Legends series. I haven't watched it, so I don't know much about it. But maybe something more in terms of something like that, where it's or just cell shaded, anime style, where they have 3D characters now for a lot of their stuff. Something more like that, I think, would be more interesting and more fun to look at. It's obviously everything that was, all the blockbusters are already 80% in CGI. And even the actors are becoming in CGI anyway. So it's like, let's tone away from photorealism. Like, we got to a point where, yeah, you can make a cityscape and have it be indiscernible from reality, where you can match make it and have perfect extensions of backgrounds. It's like, cool. Okay. But can you make a water tower look like it's made out of a Looney Tunes cartoon? Have it look like it's, make it look like that, And it's like, let's do something like that. But yeah, I'm glad that we are seeing more interesting stuff. And stuff is definitely coming out. It looks really cool, but it would be nice to see some, there's so many like 2D movies in the 70s and 80s that were really good. Like all the Don Bluths and whatnots, Roger Rabbits. That was kind of like a hybrid. Like something that's full on like let's like yeah, let's do 2D. And embrace it as like not. I'm thinking like the problem is that I'm thinking now it's gonna be like the Emoji Movie where it's like 2D is dead art. Let's have all the jokes be like how 2D is unrelevant. That'd be like the worst. Just thinking out loud, it's like, man, it's something like the Emoji Movie where it's like apps are hip. Every kid likes Just Dance on their phone. What? We're cool, right? Yeah, that'd be fun. Because I think, yeah, we're definitely past the precipice of like, we can do cool stuff with 3D. And it's like, can you do stuff with 3D mixed with 2D or do something cool? Yeah. Anyway. Let's see. Would I get a crossover now between Tell Your Tale and Make Your Mark? Have like a Quester Girls portal and have a mix. Because like, there has to be some timeline discrepancy between them, right? Like they can't exist at the same time because that's possible, but it's like that'd be weird. So they have to be alternate realities then, right? So then they can multiverse themselves. That'd be cool. Let's see. What else has been going on? There's been a lot of stuff. As soon as I like stopped like and think about like what happened, it's like my mind draws a blank. Let's see. News. Oh yeah, that's all politics. Yeah, that's been happening. Oh, nice. There's a lot of stuff I don't care about. Oh yeah, sports. I've had to do a lot of sports trophies, which you think it would be a lot more, or like be like our primary thing at work would be all the sports trophies. It's at least for me, like what I have to deal with. It's probably like 70% of what I have to do is sports trophies. I feel like a lot of them are more types of events or like memorial stuff and dedications and plaques and stuff and perpetuals. A lot of schools, just generic plaques for like, I guess some of those are like golf and best net and gross net and stuff, but I think I've done one, it was like a huge one, it had like 100 plates, they were all engraved, and those ones I think were pretty generic. I don't think it was specific for sport, it was just some sort of special kids at school that did something, I guess, I don't know. I get to a point where it's just like I'm just focusing on the actual production of it, of like I have to do a 2x3 A base on a gold brass aluminum. That's not a thing. It's that in gold aluminum with 0.30 font Arial. I think of that more than I did this for the fish hatchery down in Seattle. I did some for some. Oh yeah, I did one for the Seattle Aquarium. That was fun. So I'm making it up there. I'm like I'm getting there. Like yeah, I did a cool one. Yeah, I did one for the aquarium. So that was in sports. So there you go. All right. Bye, Judd. Thank you so much. I'll be here next week. So hope to see you then too. And yeah, so I guess next week we'll do a double up. We'll do Pip and Zip, and then next week we'll do Misty. So somehow I'll also have to make an entire Misty puppet and then do the stream here. So yeah. That's the plan. So start thinking of Pip and Zip costumes. My initial thought was that it was gonna be something like a twins kind of a costume, kind of a duo. Whatever people do for that, I guess. Not necessarily like the same exact costume, but maybe something like mustard and ketchup, or two peas, you know, something so that they're sort of different from each other, but they kind of go together as a pair. That was my thought with that. So I'll post a post on that on my Discord as well for round 3 for next week. So yeah. Hope to see you all then for that. Yeah. Otherwise, if there's nothing else I can actually see, brings me up anything. If anyone else has anything interesting, let me know. So this is sports and politics. There's one Mario thing. What's the best piece of music in a Nintendo game? Whatever. Guess the Galaxy. Okay. I think we're good. I'm also kind of tired, and I definitely need to prepare for the errands today. So I think with that, I think we're good. I kind of wrapped it up nicely with the what we'll do next week anyway. So there we go. Hope that was fun. I think I'll wrap it up now. So thank you so much for joining. This has been really good, and I think my drawing turned out a little bit better than last time. So maybe next time will be even better. Well, somehow do twice as much. Yeah. Thank you, Ben. Yeah. So yeah, exactly. We'll see you next time. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Have a good week. We're getting closer to Halloween. in a couple weeks. So anyway, thank you so much, guys. All right, bye, 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 everyone. Bye, bye. All right, thank you.